Hey, everybody! Yeah, it's Dominic DeAngelo of WrestleZone.com, and today's date is October 9th, 2021, and that's a very special day. I'll tell you why in a little bit when my degenerate brother Marcus gets into the studio. But this is two, right now for one, but two Dynamite dudes on Rampage. I got the old logo up there, as you can see, but I never got to update one. But yes, I am back. It's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? But I'm happy to be back because there's a lot to talk about. Quite a bit to talk about, isn't there? When it comes to AEW and Dynamite and Rampage and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll give you a little info. I was away in Philadelphia. I was helping cover MLW Fightland. So that was a real hoot and a good time. What a great show. If you're lucky to catch it on Vice TV, let me know in the chat. It had Tajiri from ECW. It also had the title for title fight between Alex Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu. Ooh, you know what? Marcus won't be here yet because I didn't even send him the link. Let me send him the link. But Nesha, I see you're here. I see Steven Chambers is here. Thank you for joining, guys. Yep, just getting back in the fold. Marcus, that degenerate slouch is late. So what do you expect? You know, he's the baby face of this show. Everybody seems to love Marcus, but look, he doesn't show up on time. I'm the one making the wheels turn here. Not him, me. All right? Let's get that straight. But, so yeah, Philadelphia was cool. But it was kind of weird just because I did not... This is like literally my first video thing I've done in like, I think over 2 weeks. So a little bit of an adjustment. I've been under the weather recently as well too. So I've had to weather that storm and just been hanging out and dealing with a cough and a bit of a sneeze. Hey, Marcus.
Wow. Dom, I came in, as you were saying, weather that storm after under the weather. And if I was listening to this, I would have just shut it off.
I'm going to shut you off here pretty soon if you don't stop it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yes, Marcus.
There's the background.
There we go. Marcus, you're farther away from your background typically, aren't you?
Yeah, I kind of rearranged my office a little bit today, and so now I'm over here at the desk. I used to be back in that corner.
But now your figures are so far away.
I know, but hey, man, it's everybody saw them.
We might need to...
you guys had your fucking chance.
We might need to get you a little bit of a ring light now.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. It feels very dark in here. It feels very like this is very like NPR for me, like very mellow.
You're on a Russo podcast.
It's a very, very mellow situation for me right now. What's up, Nesha? What's up, DJ, Steven? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for being here with us.
I was telling these folks, it's been probably over 2 weeks since I was last on a show, and that makes it 2 weeks for you too. So
yeah, I would say so. Probably about 2 weeks.
And I expressed my anxiety about not doing a show last week because I wanted to keep the streak alive. That was like literally the first week we didn't do a Two Dynamite Dudes show.
Yeah, it felt weird, I gotta say, especially after so many weeks of doing it. But it is what it is. Life gets in the way, as they say, Dom.
Things happen, and that's
Plus, you're a mover and a shaker. You're out there for MLW. I'm doing a little moving and shaking of my own. We're just busy as shit. Nesha's finally out of Facebook jail. Congratulations!
Wow, like everything.
She made bail.
She made bail. Yep. It's good times here around the Two Dynamite Dudes corral over here.
Never better. And Dominic, things have never been better on AEW Dynamite or Rampage for that matter. Dom, you're going to be the host this week, presumably. So
okay.
So please,
yeah. I planned for it. I planned ahead, Marcus.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, I did. Hey,
boy, that's a nice change.
Have to let me. I have any bats in the cave at any point. Okay.
All right, I'm really doing everything I can to not see what's going on in your nose
the whole time. All right, so I wanted to kick it off with this since we didn't do a Two Dynamite Dudes last week. I did want to take away three kind of big points for me. If you wanted to add upon anything that we missed from last week, feel free to go ahead.
All right,
let's start with this. Your boy Arn Anderson really creating some waves, man. He's packing heat. He's not afraid to show a Glock to some carjacker. He says Cody is. Not only that, but he would spill that guy's brains out right on the floor.
It's a strong statement.
Quite the promo from good old Enforcer. The Enforcer enforcing.
Yeah.
Yes. Give me your thoughts.
I thought it was great. And, as I've been going back and watching a lot of Arn's old stuff from his time in JCP, 1985 to early 86 up to now, it's very much on character for him. Like that's Arn Anderson. And so, I mean, always blunt, famously he once had the line, they put one of yours in the hospital, you put one of theirs in the morgue.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, Arn is no stranger to being a badass out there in front of the camera. So I thought it was great, man. I thought it was exactly what our industry needs. You know what I mean? Arn he's not afraid to just kind of come right up to the line. So it's really cool to see him in that state. And, it's an interesting angle too. And this is coming from a guy who thinks Cody is awesome still. I love Cody. I think he's one of the top 5 workers on the face of the planet. But I think that they need a little freshness to this angle, and this whole Rocky thing that they're doing, it works. And we talked about this on the last podcast. You realize that?
No, we didn't, because we didn't do one with.
We did, didn't we? Because we were talking about the whole Rocky.
Oh, we talked about Rocky 3. Yeah,
that was before. Yes,
that was before, because he was checking on Arn and all that stuff, and so, but we didn't talk about the gun. Yes, Marcus. Let's do it right now. Who is your MVP for last week? But I was going to give it to Arn.
There's no other choice. It's Arn Anderson.
It was Arn last week.
No question about it.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's the first time a manager has been MVP for you and I here. Isn't it?
Might be right. Maybe I gave it to Taz one time.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, I think you might have. But
Taz at one point. But
who could possibly get it more? Nesha is asking Dominic, did we watch Roads to the Top? I watched the first episode. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I only saw clips of it. It was all right. I'm not a big reality TV guy.
Me either.
I only like the stuff where they Marcus and I used to watch that show Face Off on Sci-Fi where it was the makeup competition, and then I watched Lego Masters because they do shit on there. You know what I mean? It's there's a lot of competition that goes on there. I like that. That's kind of more my reality show if I were to dabble into stuff. I'm not a big reality person though overall. So
I will say, my wife and I watch Lego Masters. It's awesome. But a lot of times I'll be working on the laptop on the couch and she'll be watching Bachelor in Paradise. And I'm just like, oh, I have to watch this crap. But then every once in a while she'll catch me and she gives me a hard time because I'll be like, why is she going with that fucking asshole? I'll say something like that.
Oh, that's how you get the guys though. You're like, that guy's a fucking dickhead.
Right. I'm like, can't you see it? That guy's a fucking asshole.
Oh, well, so this is that's also why I kind of watch Lego Masters, because I hate all the fucking people on there. I hate everybody. Not Will Arnett. He's kind of
You hate watching Lego Masters?
Well, yeah, I hate watching Lego Masters. Well, I like what they build. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. But I'm like, could not stand being with these people because they try to make you pull at the heartstrings. They had those 2 old ladies in the first season, and I'm like, get those bitches out of here.
That is harsh. Harsh, Dominic.
And then there was the father with his son, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about their relationship. And then, everybody, just get them off the show, send them away. Their build of the Eiffel Tower was horrible. Get them out of here.
Savagery by you, Dominic. Let's talk about wrestling a little bit though. DJ is saying that Ricky Starks was his MVP for this week, Dom.
Well, we'll talk about that. We obviously will.
Dominic, they can't wait to talk this week. Last week is old news. Let's go.
We're nipping at the bud. All right, though. I did want to mention how much I love Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson last week, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was something to see. I gotta say, everybody says well, it's this new style. It doesn't jive with reality. It's not good today. Well, look, if you get the right components in there, and we actually saw this on Dynamite this week, which we'll talk about soon. You get the right components in there, and the new style works with the old style. If you work the match properly, you've got the old style, very much the old style in many ways with Daniel Bryan combined with which was it? Nick Jackson?
Nick Jackson.
It was Nick. You got very much the older style combined with the new style, and it worked. It worked out fine. It worked out fine with Omega and Bryan Danielson. That's going to happen to me a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's still happening.
it worked out with them when they had their huge match. So like I think that what we're seeing here is like you need. I think that if you get one each element involved in the match, it works. So it's I don't know for old school wrestling fans, there's still some good stuff out there.
And Brian, he's so good at like telling the story through like joint manipulation. You would sit like there was that point where he had Nick Jackson by the arm, and like he was doing some work with the arm. He like pulled back the hand, and then he checked like the forearm, the where the joint, the elbow, and like he twists on that, and he twists back on that, and like Nick Jackson like wiggling his knees. You can see Matt and Brandon Cutler in the corner going like, like oh god, like it's just like little enhancement stuff. That's it. So, like Brian is so damn good at like he loves it. He loves wrestling, and he makes you love wrestling by seeing what he does in the ring with it. So,
how could you not love it when you're watching what he's up to, man? It's awesome to see. A lot of fun. So yeah, I mean Bryan Danielson. If it wasn't for Arn, he would have been my MVP this past week.
Another one we could have put in the contendership is a friend of the show, Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Man, it's good stuff last week. Very good stuff,
right? That's why I had to touch upon some of this.
It is a shame we didn't get to talk about it because, man, that was quite a match, and that was one of those ones because I mean, a friend of the show, Thunder Rosa. You and I both think she's everything that there is in wrestling, number one. So like she's going into this match, I'm like, man, I like the fan of me's coming back out. Where I'm like, man, I really want her to win. Ooh, she needs to go over in this. Like she's a star. They need to see it. So yeah, it's I was bummed out that she didn't win, but honestly, it's like Jade Cargill is a little bit too hot to take the gas off that situation.
I was watching. So when I watched the match again today, and same with the Bryan Danielson one, but I was watching it at a bar in South Philly, and like so I was like in conversation, but also on the side of the TV we had it on, and so I was only catching like brief moments and stuff. I got to saw her awesome shotgun drop kick from the top rope, and then I saw the finish, and I was like, oh man, she lost. But then when I went back and watched it made plenty of sense because she powerbombed Nyla through the table, and then Mark Sterling handed Jade the chair, and Jade just hit her from the back and then hit her repeatedly and stuff. And
it gives Rosa an out. It works. And yeah, I think it's fine. I do think that Rosa needs a belt in AEW, and actually it was just said here. Who said it?
We'll talk about it. Yeah, that's obviously on the list today. Tony Khan had that big announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, did you want to talk anything else about last week?
No, let's move on and let's talk about this past week.
Okay.
This week,
Tony Khan had the big announcement, the official introduction of the TBS title, and who Marcus should be the first to hold it. Do you think Thunder Rosa should be the first to hold it, or should she be more destined for Britt Baker's belt, while maybe they start off with a different talent holding that belt? Because we think Thunder Rosa is a star already, so her going after the main title makes sense. Where do you fall upon that? Because I can go either way, honestly. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be Thunder Rosa chasing Britt Baker. I think that she's like Britt Baker's kryptonite, where Britt just keeps pulling out wins against everybody. But Thunder Rosa, like obviously Thunder Rosa did the job for her before, but Thunder Rosa, as of now, is up one, or she's up in their last match. So like Thunder Rosa, I think that's kind of the storyline where it's like, hey, look, Britt is unstoppable. She's incredible. This kind of like unstoppable force in wrestling. But like, there's this one wrestler that always gives her a hard time, and it's Thunder Rosa. So with that being said, first TBS champion, I think it got proved this week who it should be. Dominic, it's Serena Deeb.
That's a good choice too. I did not think about her. Yeah, well, that was another aspect I was going to talk about. But
Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb are the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart of today, where you can make an argument one way or the other that they're the best in the world, and for different reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So, I mean, a great point. I think here, let's see who are people suggesting here. Let's see. Ruby.
Oh man, wait a minute.
Ruby?
DJ Cat Dominic. Speaking of Serena Deeb, DJ Cass here a little bit ago says Serena Deeb sucks, and Sky Blue needs to get a push and get some big win, whether it's Nyla Rose, Jade, or Britt Baker. And Steven pointed it out. Okay, he took the words out of my mouth, much like Meatloaf. I think if Serena Deeb heard you say that, she'd stretch you, dude. She's
the woman of 1,000 holds.
She's today's combination Bret Hart, Dean Malenko. Nothing to mess with.
No, I think I don't know how
everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You don't have to like.
Again, Marcus feels that way, DJ. I don't feel any. I feel certain opinions are wrong.
That's why wrestling's great. If we all got along all the time, wrestling would be boring.
What kind of fun would that be if everybody's? That's why WWE's boring. Everyone is because everybody's the fucking same.
Right. It's like a copy of a copy.
Yep. Put a hat on a hat.
And what happens when you make enough copies of copies, Dominic?
It gets
fucking
quality.
Fades away.
Just kind of like you're a copy of me because I came out first. And so, like, you're lesser than me.
I was gonna say you're more like, when they do the first release of a car and that car sucks, and they're like, we need to improvise, or we need to improve this car, and they bring in like real designers and stuff, and just make it a beautiful piece of art. And that's
once you did, the masterpiece was there. It's everything's just downhill starting off.
Let's hammer on.
I think we are. Am I the Danny DeVito in Twins? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Okay. Listen. No, I feel. I would love. Now, yes, that's a great looking belt, the TBS title. I also feel. I would love, I could see Thunder Rosa holding it, but I'm very much more of the line of, hey, let her go after the world championship, something like that. Like, even if you get somebody to screw her out of the tournament, hey, Britt Baker, maybe. Because, Britt even cut a promo, which was very funny because she was like, I was hoping for the Cartoon Network title, but it ended up being the TBS. But so what if Britt, and this would be a great thing because Britt's like, oh, all you guys can have that other belt, blah, 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 the TBS title. I don't care about that stuff. What if she did care about it? And what if she, Thunder Rosa was just in the semifinals and she was about to advance and Britt Baker screws her out of it?
And here's the other thing for you to look at, Dominic, is Britt is acting like she doesn't care about it. What if they have a mystery entrant in the tournament and lo and behold, it's Britt Baker? And all of a sudden it's like maybe she does care about it, but then she gets to the final against Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa beats her, and now it's TBS title versus the women's title. Super unprofessional.
Well, you don't want to hear the bad guy?
James Ponto Fernando Tegoy. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us, buddy. Tay Conte is DJ's vote. He likes.
See, that's a good choice. I think that's a good choice. My choice,
Tay Conte.
Tay Conte.
I think it's Conte.
I think it's Tay Conte. No, now you're making me fuck it up. I think she would be a good choice. My choice would be legit Layla Hirsch. Would be the winner for that. I think she's got such a unique look, style to her wrestling, badass, legit badass, scrappiness. You got the whole package for a good TNT champion, TBS champion starting off. Layla Hirsch, that would be my choice.
I like Layla, but I really think that for my money it should be Serena Deeb, unless they go with that Thunder Rosa storyline where Britt's acting like she doesn't care, but it turns out she does.
Okay, people are saying Shida too. That was a good story that they told between Serena Deeb and Shida. Hey, they made you think Shida's gonna get that 50th win against Serena Deeb, and she didn't. Serena Deeb beat her clean, and then Serena Deeb hit her with her trophy. Pretty cool story there.
It was good. I think it was really well done. And the thing is, Shida I'm not saying give up on Shida by any means. I think she's great, but Shida has been to the pinnacle, right? She was the women's champion for a very long period of time. So now it's time to build others up, and this is the right way to do it. You kind of swerve fans by, it's her it would be her 50th win or whatever it is, and it's a big deal. But then all of a sudden, what we think we're going to get is not what we get. I mean, it's awesome. Good storytelling.
It is good storytelling. Yeah, Shida, I thought they were going to turn her heel because maybe they still will. I don't know. But her just losing that moment and them getting attacked, I thought hey, this could be a good heel turn for Shida, and it would shake it up and give you a fresh new heel character too to worry about. What about Ruby Soho, Marcus? How about her for first TBS Women's Champ?
Too soon, and I don't think she needs it. Much like Jake the Snake right now. I think that she's red hot without having to have a belt in her hands.
I agree, but I don't want to see her lose again, like for a long time. You know what I
No,
mean?
I don't think she should either. And I guess if she's going to be in this tournament, she's going to have to. But I mean, maybe you further the storyline between her and Britt Baker then for now. You know, where you have Britt Baker screw her. So I don't know. I think it's an option. Dominic James is asking an interesting question. Dominic and Marcus, what would you think of giving the TBS champion the option of turning their title in at any time for a women's world title shot? I assume is what he means.
Yeah,
it would be a great plot device for a heel. It would.
We talked about this last week though with the TNT title. We said no, we wouldn't like that.
I don't know, but this could possibly work. But then here's the issue, and maybe this is what we talked about last time, where it's almost like you want these secondary belts to be viewed as on an equal plane. Otherwise, why would people be striving ever to be the TNT champion, right? You would always only want to be the AEW champion. So it's like, yes, it's not the world championship, but it's a highly valued belt at the same time. So if you say, hey, I don't want this belt, I want the other belt, it devalues that belt, if that makes sense.
C Nation knows it's option C. That's what they do in the X division. So, like, you know, if you're the X Division title, you have option C, where you give up the X Division title in order to just get a title shot. See, like, I feel if you're going to make the TBS title mean something, you don't do that, like, off the bat. I wouldn't do it at all, honestly. Like, and a perfect thing for that, too, is what happened at Fightland, which aired on Vice TV at 10 p.m. on Thursday, was between Alexander Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu. Hammerstone is the national open weight champion, while Jacob Fatu is the world heavyweight champion. Both held it for nearly 2 years. Both put their belts on the line, and neither gave up their belt. So it was title for title. I won't ruin who won the match, so in case you get to see it. But the results are posted if you want to check it out on WrestleZone.com or MLW.com, because I do both. But there, I don't think that putting the belt on the line like that, or giving it up, not at this moment in time, and I don't think you should really do that. Like,
I think it devalues the belt, and you know, if you look at back in even the 90s, the Intercontinental title in WWF used to be like it was a highly touted belt. It was like, you know, obviously it's like you're not the number one guy in the company, but you're certainly number two or thereabouts. Considered a top guy if you're carrying the Intercontinental Championship. And these guys weren't swapping belts every 2 weeks. Like, you know, when Razor Ramon was champion, he held the belt for, 5 months at a time.
Yeah.
Longer. So, you know, it's, I think that you need to view the TNT title and the TBS title for that matter in that same light. So it was an intriguing idea whenever I first read it here. It is an intriguing idea still to this point, because you think about the storylines you could create from it, but you want to maintain value.
Yeah. DJ, Hirsch is not hurt. She's okay. Actually, she's going to be on AEW Restricted, the podcast, this week. If you follow Aubrey Edwards on Twitter, you can actually send her a question for Layla Hirsch for that show. So she's not hurt, though. She's okay. Statlander, Marcus. What about Statlander, DJ asks?
I love Chris Statlander. You know, I have since she first came in. I just saw the potential in her, and I think that she's really starting to realize it. I think she's really starting to feel it, and she's getting really good. I would say probably not at this stage, but certainly down the road. There's no reason why not.
There's so many options. That's what kind of makes this tournament pretty cool. Is like you don't know who could win this belt because there's a lot of good names that deserve the belt. You know,
I have to say, Brandy Rhodes, Kenny Omega, all these people that are like working to make this women's division something important and worthwhile and worth wanting to watch. You know, because we grew up in the '90s when it was an afterthought. Dom, do you recall ever seeing the WCW Women's Champion defended?
Ever? No.
Championship never. Defended? I don't remember it ever.
I don't think we had it because Medusa threw it in the trash.
That was the WWF Women's Championship.
That's right. Yeah. Did they have one?
I think so.
Wait, did they even have one when
I'm pretty sure. And I feel like it was always Bull Nakano versus Medusa. At least that's my memory. I don't know. Weigh in if you guys remember it, but I don't remember ever seeing it. And then what about the 90s? I know that they had the Women's Championship. I remember Stephanie McMahon and Ivory holding it, but it was like It was those girls were getting like a match every 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So yeah, I am thrilled with the way that they're positioning the women's division in AEW, and like honestly, like I get equally as excited when Thunder Rosa comes out as I do when CM Punk or Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, name it. She's her, Serena Deeb. They're incredible, and I'm so glad that they're being positioned the way that they're being positioned in this company. All of the women.
Yeah. What'd you think of that match too, real quick? By the way, Serena Deeb.
I've got nothing against Hikaru Shida whatsoever, but I was just I would see her matches and think like, I mean, she's good. You know, didn't really jump off the page for me. Like she's fine. She's good. She can work. You know, nice. This is the best I've seen her, and that's the point I was trying to make earlier when it comes to like kind of this newer style versus an old school style, and how you can combine them to create a good match. It was a really good match. I thought they worked really well together. Thought they had nice chemistry, and I think that a lot of that has to do with understanding simple psychology of like, okay, you know, Serena Deeb wants to get you on the ground. You know, she wants to out wrestle you, whereas Hikaru Shida is more about like striking, strategic. You know, so it's I thought it just worked really well.
Yeah, I like too the little spot where like Steve's head was hanging over the apron, and like Shida goes to kick it. I think she connects, but JR's like, she's got to be careful of that, or else like that's something that you can scout real easy. And sure enough, like Shida sets up a chair, and like Deeb grabs the chair and slides it back out of the ring. And like Tony's like, hey, you're right, JR. Look, she did scout that stuff. So.
And that kind of stuff is awesome. Just works really well.
Yeah. James says, didn't Daphne defend the women's title?
I'm sure. I'm honestly, it was positioned so low on the card, and it was such an afterthought for when it came to other storylines that like I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't either. I think it was. I think I remember like Gorgeous George, like Macho Man's other girlfriend, holding it, and then Medusa was back and maybe held it. I can't remember. But how about Abaddon?
I don't hate it. I think that Abaddon's character needs to be built more. I don't remember the last time I saw Abaddon on TV. Do you?
Yeah, it was a little bit ago. It was like a couple weeks ago, I think. She came out to a huge pop too. Maybe when was I there for one of the shows or something when she came out?
Here's the thing: is she's got something. You know, the character is unique. It's not something that we see everywhere all the time. So there's something there with Abaddon, and it's something that like an indelible mark on my mind when it comes to wrestling and women's wrestling. Like anytime she comes out, I'm like, oh shit, there's Abaddon. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh fuck, okay, better pay attention. There's Abaddon. You know, so it's cool, and I don't hate the idea of her being the first TBS champion, but I think that they need to build her a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. All
right, Nesha, before we move on, Dom. Please.
Yeah, Nesha said she's watching Knockouts Knockdown right now, and she says Daphne got a 10-bell salute on Knockouts Knockdown before the show, which also they're dedicating the Monsters Ball match that they're having on that card to her as well. So that's pretty darn cool.
That's awesome. So, and, you know, I hope that that's a consistent thing. You know, when somebody passes away, it's like, it feels like there's a lot of respect given up front a lot of the time. And then it's like, you know, I want to keep hearing about these people. So like, that's why I love what AEW is doing. They're respecting Owen Hart. They're respecting Brody Lee. I would love it if Impact did that. You know, let's do a tournament for it.
Yeah, something would be really neat like that. I don't know if I have a banner for this one, but this is like kind of bearing the lead in a lot of ways, which I don't have a banner for. Marcus, Hangman Page came back, baby.
How about that?
Casino ladder match.
What a swerve too by everybody, like even the announcers, where they were just like, maybe it's Miro, maybe it's this person. I wonder who it's going to be. And it's like, Hangman Page was not even on my radar.
Oh, really? See, he was. If you're on, like, I know you're busy doing the other social media stuff, but if you were following the social media a lot, he was like a heavy favorite to show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so swept away in the other stuff I'm doing. It wasn't even on my radar. I was like, I don't know, maybe they're gonna like debut somebody. I was like, oh well, maybe Bobby Fish will work like double duty, you know. But you know, lo and behold, it was Hangman Page, and nice reaction. Holy smokes!
Oh yeah, he's ready, man. I like his outfit too. That's fucking cool.
He looks cool, man. He looks like he's in great shape. I think he's got a nice run in his future. I mean, right now, Dominic, and again, I'm going back watching a lot of old JCP stuff right now. Right now, he reminds me, he's hot in the same way that like Magnum TA was hot.
Yeah, that's good. That's a real good comp right there. Magnum. That's a real good comp.
Yeah. So, I mean, in him, we get to see like this is kind of like a redo on Magnum TA in my mind, where it's just like what Magnum TA could have been. We kind of have that same potential right now, right here with Hangman Page.
Yeah, no, that's a really good comp right there. Like, and Hangman, man, yeah, he's just over, and he's gonna get even more over. Like, they keep handling him right and booking him right. I think they have a good plan in mind because they just put him on the table because of the pregnancy and all that stuff. So. Now he's back in business and he's ready to drink some beers and kick some ass. So I like it. James asks, what about, wrong one. Santana Garrett. Do you know Santana Garrett, Marcus?
I do, yes.
Okay. She wouldn't be bad either. I think she's kind of in the lines of Abaddon where they kind of need to build somebody more. So, but
honestly, and I know Santana Garrett. I've actually known about her work since, 2009. When she was still in the Indies. Yeah. She was on my radar, but I didn't know that she was in AEW.
I think she had a match on Dark and Elevation or something like that. Cool. She was just released from WWE from NXT.
I'm glad she's there. Talented girl.
She's very talented. Yeah, definitely great look, everything like that. This is the one I wanted to click on was Paige, the one we know from WWE NXT, joining AEW. Now she's we don't know her health status in regards to her neck. It seems like she could maybe come back, but she was kind of on the lines of she's never going to wrestle again. So I think she would be a good addition. But again, it's really, I think something about this week's Dynamite too just told me that it's conveyed a lot that, hey, there's a lot of people here, and it's hard to focus on a certain amount of people and give them the proper amount of attention too.
It is. And I like Paige, and I think that she's really talented. I think that she has a lot to offer, not just in the ring, but also as a personality in wrestling. But the issue is we've already got a bunch of personalities in AEW. So, like, if she's not going to wrestle, we've already got a bunch of wrestlers in AEW.
We've already got a bunch of personalities that don't wrestle too.
Exactly. So it's is there space? Is there need? Will you get the value back in what you pay her in a salary? I don't know. I would think that if Tony Khan does, he's got some kind of a big plan in mind. But I don't know, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, okay. James is saying maybe as a female commentator. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
Okay, yeah, so that would be a great way to get the value out of her.
Uh-huh.
Like, how about her on Rampage?
And then at some point,
how about her with Taz?
Her with Taz, that'd be great. Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun.
And then at some point, if she's able to wrestle, then you can go that route.
There you go.
Yeah, I that wouldn't be bad. Hey, James, you talked us into it. Hey, Bit, what's up? Fish will turn heel, joining with Labor. Oh, I like that. Steven. Marcus, what do you think of Bobby Fish, baby?
I like Bobby Fish. So I have not. I had never seen any of his stuff in NXT.
No.
Nope, never had. So I knew of him. I knew his name. He was like on my radar, but I haven't seen the guy work. So this is really my first exposure to him. I thought he was cool. Like he's got a great look. He works really well. Yeah, I think you can make some money with him. That being said, he's all elite. They signed him. It's official. He's with.
Did they sign him?
Yeah, I saw the Bobby Fish is all elite graphic. Unless somebody just made one. I don't know.
Oh, that could happen, Marcus.
I don't know.
I didn't see anything like that.
Pretty sure he's all elite, though. I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, okay. I'll check the Twitter machine.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is, but I see where he adds value. But like, what's the plan? What are we doing? There's a lot of big names in AEW right now, and there's only so much TV time. This is always what we talk about. It always comes down to this with you.
It always comes down to this. It does. Yeah. It really does. No.
Here's a question: is like back in the day, let's say like even like the early '90s or the or let's even go back to the '80s with a wrestling promotion. Like, bringing people in like this, was it like? it was still a territory situation, right? Where it was like a guy would come in and then another guy would go out and move into another territory.
Yeah, right.
Right. So now we don't have that. So it's like we're reaching critical mass with this roster. It's like, man, something's got to give.
Something does got to give. Yeah.
It we're gonna get to the point where every single match on every single night is a pay-per-view quality match. You know, you're gonna have CM Punk squaring off against Hangman Page on like a Wednesday night instead of getting a pay-per-view buy out of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's just something they gotta work out. I don't think Fish is all elite. I think maybe he's on like a 5-match deal or something like Matt Cardona was or something at the moment.
I don't know.
Just because like I don't see that on the feed. I didn't hear about that. So, and he was on MLW Opera Cup, and then I think he's wrestling somewhere else too. Let's see. But yeah, I kind of like that there, Steven. Fish joining the heel with Lambert. Let's talk about that. That's going to be a big headline match next week on Rampage. Is Inner Circle versus Men of the Year plus Junior Dos Santos going to step in the ring in multi-tag man action. I know we're kind of jumping around because Rampage came after Dynamite, but what'd you think of that whole segment that went on Dynamite? Because that's where the whole thing went down, basically, was that.
Well, let me say I didn't know that the Inner Circle was still a thing. I was like, are we just quietly walking? It was actually during that match as I was watching.
Oh, was that when you realized?
Well, actually, as the match was going on, I was thinking, like, is Inner Circle's not a thing anymore, right? Like, it looks like Sammy Guevara is, like, he's won the TNT title. He's striking out on his own. So, like, I guess Inner Circle's just done. Then, lo and behold, it's like at the end of the match, it's like, oh, okay, I guess it is still a thing. But this is the first time Inner Circle's been acknowledged for a while on TV, right?
No, because a couple weeks, the reason I knew they were still together is because Chris Jericho mentioned them on commentary and that they're still a team and all that stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
then you had like Jericho and Hager tagging together and stuff like that. There's all indication that Inner Circle was still a thing, you know. So they're still a thing. Hey, I'm gonna mute, but talk about what you thought about the whole like Lambert and things like that. I'm just gonna mute so people don't hear gross stuff.
Okay? Oh God, you're still sick and disgusting over there.
I'm recovering. I'm on the up and up.
All right. Well, yeah, I thought it was a good segment. The Dan Lambert thing is really growing on me. Just because he's really a good talker. Dominic, maybe you could go off screen so we don't have to see you be gross. He's just like throwing up in the background on his screen over there. But no, the Dan Lambert thing at first I was like, okay, the guy's a good promo, but like, what the fuck are we doing with him? But now it's like, okay, he's a consistent thing. This wasn't some one-off Pete Rose situation. Like, he's here and it's going to keep happening. So I
think I was throwing up.
No, I knew that you weren't going to throw up. I thought it was like, okay, he's going to excuse himself and go blow his nose somewhere. And all you do is mute. And then you're still on the screen and you're like having a rough time over there. So
I ducked and hid.
Yeah, feel free to stand up and get the fuck out of everybody's view if you're going to be disgusting.
I wasn't that gross, was I,
guys? In any case, I think the Lambert thing is working. So yeah, it's I think it's cool. That being said, I'm wondering where they're going after this. Like, after this whole Inner Circle thing, is Lambert still going to be around?
Good point. Like, is it just like maybe like I don't think that would be a bad thing if it's just like a one kind of thing deal for a while, and then can, like you said, like he like leave the territory, come back. You know, I'd be all right with that. You know, because there's a lot of people on the roster you got to worry about. Again, it could just go to that point.
Dom Nesha feels that you're not being disgusting. She's fine too.
Thank you, Nesha. See, that's nice.
You are though. What's next though on the list, Dom?
Oh, let's take agenda. Oh yeah. CM Punk taking on all challengers. You know, I said on Twitter last night that he fought Daniel Garcia, but I was saying like this is something like Punk starting off and coming back with all these new matches and stuff. It's like Mad Men. You don't know. I don't know how much you see of the show, but like there's an episode where he's got to pitch the Kodak Carousel. And it's like this old time like projector thing that would like go around where it's like, you know, showing clips, almost like a slideshow thing, but a Kodak Carousel. And I was like, that this is all something that not only Punk can add to his carousel, but all these wrestlers can add to their carousel as well that compete against him, like Hobbs. Like, hey, that's when I fought CM Punk. Daniel Garcia, that's when I fought CM Punk. You know, that kind of thing. And Punk could be like, hey, this is when I come back and, you know, started cutting it up with the newer guys and stuff like that. So, Yeah, and I thought it was a really well done match, kind of in the same vein of the Nick Jackson and Bryan Danielson match, where like different pace, but it was like a good story told in it. I liked it. Mark. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, CM Punk is proven he's still got it on the mic, in the ring. He's like 7 years off, no ill effects on CM Punk, which is pretty remarkable. You hear all the time how ring rust is a real thing, and how like, oh man, the pro wrestling conditioning is unlike any other conditioning. But no, he looks like $1 million out there. And man, like I'm seeing like promo images, graphics, posters, stuff like that. And just like when you see these images and graphics, and you've got guys like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson as like the featured talent on there, it's like, man, that's a big deal. AEW's really leveled up, and I think that CM Punk is kind of like, he's at the head of the pack for that movement.
Oh yeah. I also liked the promo he did on Wednesday. I almost forgot to mention that, where he comes out and he's like, "Hey, you like my Jordans?" And then he's like, I came from humble beginnings," and then he ties it all into being from like working in Philadelphia and like doing all this stuff from like a different area of Philadelphia and all that stuff.
Working nonstop every night.
And then he was able to buy like a computer and something else, and he thought he was rich. And he's like, but I was rich because I had people around me and like the environment around me. And then he's like, I had you guys and all that stuff. It was a great
unbelievable promo. Yeah.
Great promo. And then he gave his shoes to that Orange Cassidy kid in the crowd. And
he like said something to him, probably gave him like some advice or whatever.
I hope he did the Rey Mysterio thing, is like, do something with your life, little bitch.
Dude, that is, for those of you who don't know that story, it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Somebody who was a kid when Rey Mysterio was doing that whole like put his head against the kid and talk to them and then like give him the mask back in the day. This would have been like 2008 maybe. This kid's an adult now, and he wrote it on, it must have been Twitter or something, but he wrote, that's what Ray said to him. He put his head against this kid's head and he said, do something with your life, you little bitch. Which is just an unbelievable story.
It's great. No, it was awesome though. That was such a cool thing to do, and like just it's a great way to carry Punk going and keep the heat with him, like, because people like cheering him. Obviously, Philly loves cheering him. I don't know. Oh, they're in Miami next week. They're in Miami, so that like it'll be cool. And not to mention, we forgot to mention this. How about that fucking when the Inner Circle was out there? That crowd was really singing Judas.
And like honestly, that's one of the times when I have famously gotten annoyed by the whole like singing crowd situation, but like that's one of the times when it's like a moment that you can't pay for. You wouldn't be able to hand out flyers before the show and get fans to do it. They just have to do it, and they did it. They just made it work, and it worked so well with the circumstances too. So it was just like, I don't know, it's not always bad for the fans to want to be involved with the show, and that was an example of it being good.
And Dan Lambert handled it great too. He's like,
he did.
Oh God, how long is this gonna take?
He's what an old pro for a guy who's just like in the business all of a sudden. Like he just knows what to do. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was a standout moment in that whole situation.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. So that Philly crowd was great. Marcus, we're familiar with the Temple area of Philadelphia. Not the best of areas in the city.
It is not really close to one of the most dangerous sections of the city, which Dominic and I used to have to walk through on a daily basis. Yeah, so it butts right up against a very dangerous area. But I mean, hey, these fans were ready to brave that situation to come out and see their guys.
I had to act like a freak so I didn't get attacked by freaks.
Well, I'm sure that wasn't a hard transition for you.
You fucker. Let's see. Steven says, do you guys see Jericho taken out so he can start his tour? I think a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Steven. He's been doing his tour here and there, though. He was like in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago, and he's hit other shows that he's been doing too. I can't remember where else he's been at, but he's been doing that. So he's been making both work. So I could maybe see him like going back and maybe taking a week off here and there and doing his tour stuff and other things too. So yeah, I could see that. Marcus, do you see that happening?
Yeah, I do, and it's clearly a big part of his life is his music, and it's just a matter of time before he's back on tour, right? So I mean, this feels like it's been a consistent thing throughout his career, where it's like he's there, he's not
Well,
there.
he's on tour. Aren't you fucking listening? I just said he is on tour.
I don't know, but regardless, it's in spite of that, yeah, I can see it. I can see it for sure, and maybe it should happen. Because if Lambert and his crew are going to be sticking around, then they could probably use a big win. You don't want to have them coming in just like get beat, and then all of a sudden, the angle's dead.
Yeah. Oh, Steven brought up a good point too in Punk's promo: cheesecake or cheesesteak. He's like, which one is it? It's like,
yeah, I think he just accidentally said cheesecake.
Yeah,
he knows it's cheesesteak, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he made it work again. He like turned it into a joke. The crowd got involved. It worked. So
God, I'm hungry for a cheesesteak right now.
I'm good. If I never eat another cheesesteak again, I'm good.
How many did you have though when you were there
in Philly?
Yeah,
more than 10.
Seriously?
Yeah, in the 2 years I was there, more than 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, literally, dude, I've only probably had like when I lived there, maybe I had 2 or like.
Oh wow.
Well, no, that's 2. Maybe 2.5 because I had one at. I always ate at gyms.
I'll tell you this: nobody gives a shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh damn it! Hold on, muting again.
Oh Jesus! Would you mind getting off the fucking screen?
Yeah,
this
I'll
time?
get off the screen this time.
You
Wasn't
piece
that
of
gross,
shit,
you asshole?
You fucking garbage human. Anyways, so yeah, I think that CM Punk made it work. I think he always makes essentially anything that he's involved in work. CM Punk, the consummate pro, and again, I mean, it really speaks to him as a performer to be gone since 2014 and be able to just seamlessly come back in, not just as a personality, but then also as a performer out there. So yeah, I thought it was unbelievable. James is saying Jericho deserves his GOAT status. I think so too. How do you guys feel about Jericho continuing to be a performer? I believe he just turned 50, if I recall right. I think he just turned 50 this year. So it's like he's getting up in years. He is slowing down, as we've discussed here. So the tour aside, do you guys think it's time for Jericho to hang it up and start focusing on being an announcer? Or do you guys like seeing him come out and get involved in the ring? The fact, I will say this, and I've mentioned this to Dominic, I've probably mentioned it on the podcast before. Chris Jericho is one of those guys who has been in the ring with everybody because of the time period of his career. Essentially, every big name ever Chris Jericho has bumped up against at some point or another. So, I mean, obviously, he's never wrestled Bruno Sammartino or Andre the Giant, but, he's wrestled Hulk Hogan. He's wrestled Roddy Piper. He's wrestled Kevin Nash. He's wrestled Ric Flair. He's been in the ring with everybody. So Chris Jericho, I think it's a cool situation to have him involved in AEW because again, it's this guy with this legacy where he's been in the ring with so many huge personalities. All of a sudden now it's like he's in the ring with Darby Allin, so it's really cool to see this continue to perpetuate. So I don't know. I'm on the fence when it comes to Jericho as an active performer still. How do you feel, Dom?
Oh, you know where I'm at. I think he should go as long as he wants to.
Well, obviously, it's his life. He should go as long as he wants to. He's got to do what makes him happy. I'm just saying, as a fan, would you prefer to see him in the booth, or you want to see him keep going?
Keep going. Yeah, I think he's great on commentary. People, like we said, I think he's even this past Rampage. I thought he did a great job and added such humor and stuff like that to Philly, and he was popping Taz legitimately and stuff like that. With his
he's funny and he's got a great personality.
Yeah.
And he still has some really great moments in the ring. Has he slowed down? You bet he has. And anybody would if you're 50. But for the pure value of having him come a guy with his legacy, matching up against people like Hangman Page, Kenny Omega again. We still need the best of 3 out of Jericho Omega, which by the way, maybe that should be Jericho's retirement. Don't you think?
That's not bad.
I don't know. Something to think about.
I wouldn't just use it though. If you're gonna, I mean, if he's not gonna retire, don't be like, hey, you want to retire for this one? If you want to have the match, just have the match. Don't base it around his retirement. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned Darby. Darby dueling it with MJF. I've really liked how they've handled this whole thing. First it's oh man, I can't believe he said that stuff. But then they have to sit down with JR and Darby like talks about it, and he's like, yeah, that's why I paint half my face, and like he's like, because I'm half dead, and it's blood. He's like, I all, and like he explained it all. I thought it was really well done, and then carried it into later on where you get attacked in the parking lot. A limo pulls up, he accepts a match against MJF, and then a limo pulls up, all these hooded guys come out and beat him down, and clearly a pinnacle, and leave him laying for dead, and then he can't compete next week. So Mark, what'd you think of all that?
The Eric Watts puts him in the STF in the parking lot. That's a reference to old school stuff. He did that to Arn in like a fucking gas station parking lot.
In a parking gas station?
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah. Here's what I liked about it is that it felt very much like last week on the Young and the Restless, because it's like Tony Khan and I think AEW understands that having CM Punk and Daniel Bryan involved has invited a whole new group of wrestling fans over that were not involved in AEW before. They hear about these two on the show and they're like, all right, I'm going to check it out. And then they get sucked in. So it's like, for all of these people know, they're just like, okay, what's the deal with the guy with half his face painted? So now we need an exposition purge where they're just like, by the way, here's what's going on with Darby Allin. And here's why we like him, because he's fought through so much and he's had this much difficulty. He's smaller than everybody, but he's tenacious. You know what I mean? So it was an exposition purge, and I thought it worked really well. So I'm glad that they did it. And yeah, I mean, it was clearly the pinnacle. Why wear masks? Of course it was the pinnacle.
So they have their out. They have their own out.
I guess.
Like, oh yeah, we didn't do it. No.
What are you talking about?
Like, well, that's what who was on commentary that kept saying that. Tony kept saying that. He's like, they're gonna just go and be like, that's not us, and so yeah, I thought it worked. I liked it all. I'm really liking Darby versus MJF. It's a good feud to have.
And Nesha, Dominic, and I used to be huge Young and the Restless fans, so I'm not knocking it. I haven't watched it since I was in maybe ninth grade, but I used to dig it.
When I was in college, I would tape it on a VCR and then watch it when I could. So, and that was over 12 years ago, more than that, 15. So
probably more than that. You're getting old. Getting old, dude.
I'm getting old, man.
Dominic, DJ's asking, what are your thoughts on Lio Rush signing, as well as his comments saying that Dante Martin, that he has a business proposal for him? Do you think that Rush will do the role he did with Lashley in WWE?
I think maybe starting off, he's going to wrestle, though. I will say, like, I just, I can't confirm that, but I mean, like, he's just there. He's going to be there to wrestle. You know what I mean?
I think that in WWE, it was classic Vince McMahon. Well, he's small. And he's a good talker.
What the rumors were for Adam Cole.
Right. He's small, but he's a good talker. Make him a manager, pal.
Yeah.
So I don't know that was Lio Rush's first choice, and I doubt if he's going to be a manager in AEW.
His choice.
Yeah, I don't picture him being a manager in AEW, but I guess we'll see.
Maybe like a faction of some sort or something. Like,
I'll tell you that. No, that's a fun route. I'll tell you this, Dominic, and that's that Lio Rush would make a very good first AEW Cruiserweight champion.
Wow. Yes. How about that? Maybe he can do a business proposition and get a Cruiserweight belt made.
I think it needs to happen.
Yeah. Introduce the Cruiserweight belt any way you can, I think.
Yeah.
Get
no question about it.
One count. Make it one count. That's it. I think it's intriguing. I like and then, hey, Marcus, we got what we're going to get out of it, man, is Matt Sydal versus CM Punk on Rampage next week.
How fun is that?
That's going to be real fun, man. It's going to be real fun.
I mean, that's a good match, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, especially because Sydal, yes, he's a high flyer, but he also does a lot of like very interesting submission maneuvers. So yeah, I think it could be a really good time.
Well, we do have to say this. So, after Rampage aired last night, Tony Khan called out WWE and said, hey, I hear you're going to go an extra half hour against us. I'm looking forward to going head-to-head with you and basically beating you, right? So, and now the ratings from this week did come in, or the early ratings, and they're projected to be, for Rampage, and they're projected to be lower than they were last week. So, Rampage has been kind of on a little bit of a downturn. He's really stacked the Rampage card for next week. I mentioned
I'll be right back.
Okay. I mentioned Punk and Sydal, Ruby Soho competing against the Bunny, and then we have the Inner Circle and Junior Dos Santos. fighting Jericho. And yeah, obviously. So I'm curious. What do you guys think? Does AEW have a shot against top broadcast company like Fox still airing SmackDown at past 10 p.m., but also at the same time they're going to be having Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. So mainstream crowds more familiar with WWE product. It's obviously on a more accessible channel, and the ratings have been consistently like big for for what wrestling is today. For WWE on that channel, they've hasn't been ultimately what Fox has wanted, but they've gotten it. So what do you guys think, Marcus? Going into that context, you need me to explain anything, or do you understand where I'm coming at? What do you think about all this? Does Rampage next week have a shot with what's been going on?
I think they do, but I also think that Vince is a gamer. So I'm not saying he's going to call The Rock and be like, "Hey, I need you to show up next Friday so we can beat them." But
thank you, Nesha. That's a great point. Sorry to interrupt. She did mention it's going to be on FS1 next week. So thank you, Nesha. That's a great point, because that does change the game. If Fox, I think they have a real legit shot then. Like, I thought, for some reason, I heard it crossed in my head. I heard today that it was on FS1, and I just totally forgot about it. So thank you, Nesha. It's on FS1. So I think they have a legit shot now. It completely changed my mind.
I think that on paper, yes, probably. I suspect that Rampage is going to beat them, but only if they stay the course at WWE. Because, like I said, Vince to me is like the ultimate competitor. So, like, I wouldn't put it past him to be like, "Hey, Stone Cold, I need a favor."
Or, "Hey, Brock, you're going to wrestle on this instead of instead of Blood Money 6, pal."
Right. And just for the simple fact of like, okay, shut up, because I can beat you anytime I want to. It like might be the whole mentality that Vince would approach it with. Not that I agree with that mentality. I think that he would burn out before he would be able to match talent with what AEW has got. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that we're going to hear some interesting stuff in the coming week. And I don't know, Mr. John Alba shared an image of Randy Orton next to Kurt Angle today. I'm not saying that there's anything to it, but we might have a little something going on here in WWE to attempt to kind of reassert themselves as the dominant wrestling product.
That was an indication that Kurt might be rolling on over there.
Sounds like it. I don't know. Hard to say.
I don't even know. Did Randy Orton get drafted to SmackDown? I don't even know, because he's on Raw, technically.
I have no idea. Nesha, you watched AEW.
Nesha, weigh in. Somebody help us out. Randy Orton drafted to SmackDown now. Brock is scheduled for Friday, DJ says. So maybe he'll be on later on that time. So he could show up. Plus, Steven and DJ, I think, both made the points that baseball's on. That's why. I should know that too. I was just watching the game last night.
And Nesha and DJ both say Randy's on Raw, so okay, I'll just shut up about that.
Okay. So I didn't know. I was curious. I saw that Alba posted that as well, and I didn't know what he was referring to. Let's see. Tag titles stay on Raw. So yeah. Okay. I think this is what I do not get. People bitching about Stones getting casted. What are you watching? What are you watching? Okay, you're watching fucking wrestling. Okay, that's the whole point of wrestling, is to out promote the other company. Okay,
it's the business.
It's the business. It's competition. Golly.
And by the way, it's been happening for decades.
Yes.
Where like Vince McMahon kind of started this whole thing where it's like, nope, the competition doesn't exist. Never acknowledge them on TV. Where most companies used to. WCW famously used to give away Raw's finishes, but, because Raw was pre-taped, they'd be like, "Hey, don't turn the channel because right now Savio Vega's wrestling Gold Dust and we're about to have Goldberg come out." Like they'd say something like that.
Mark, and you're covering Jim Crockett promotions too, and
Ole Anderson used to bring up other promotions all the time. He wouldn't bring up Hulk Hogan, but he would say like, "We're not some kind of a cartoon product." He'd like say stuff like that. He'd bring up Bruno Sammartino. So he was No. So the thing back in the day, though, was that it was also okay. When my contract expires here, if they don't resign me, can I go get work in another territory? So here I'll poke the bear a little bit, so I can maybe start a storyline. I think that was a big part of it too.
Oh, that's a big part of it. And like Randy Orton did that too when he was a free agent. Remember, he was like hanging out with FTR and like really teasing, "Hey, I might go to AEW," and it just amped up his contract and he got paid.
Yeah. So it's good business, but yeah, it's in any case we digress. Look,
well, no, we don't. I think that it's like, hey, if you're in prison, you're gonna stab the scariest guy in prison, right? That's who you go after. That's who you go after.
Stab Dominic.
Stab him. Stab him. All right.
Very aggressive. Well, yeah, and that's it. Look, it's wrestling. You're gonna call it the competition. I love Bischoff back in the day saying that he wanted to beat up Vince McMahon.
Yes,
it was awesome, and it
made that 12-year-old. It was like, is Vince gonna show up?
What's really funny is like now, you hear back about it on like 83 Weeks in these other podcasts where like people are saying like, no, Vince wanted to go. Like he heard that invite and he wanted to be there. Yeah. So like, I just think it's cool. I think it opens the door for opportunities too, because here's the other thing is like, I'm not completely rolling out AEW eventually, maybe one day opening the forbidden door with WWE. And I
think AEW would do that right now and then if Vince was like, hey, let's try to do something.
Sure.
But the fact remains like WWE doesn't want to do that.
And you like, just in case they ever decide to, I'd bring their name up once every program. I'd bring up some crap that they're doing over there. I don't see what the big deal is.
Hey, happy birthday, DJ! I didn't know it was your B-day.
DJ, right, happy birthday, man!
Yeah, all right. Let's see. Thoughts on Lucha Brothers versus the Acclaimed? Oh yeah, the Acclaimed was way over with crowd now, and then they should be tag champs soon. Yeah, I think they need to get some wins for sure again. It's just like, again, a lot of people, and the Lucha Brothers need to really establish themselves as tag team champs, and I think can go on quite the run right now. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good match and a fun match. They did it. They all did a good job together. I love Anthony Bowens. I think he's great. Caster's rap on Philadelphia was good stuff. Bringing up Gritty, Ben Simmons, Rocky, all that stuff.
Arn.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Arn. That was good with that was good stuff. So yes.
Yeah, I think that you can only hold those two down for so long because Anthony Bowens has got an incredible look, great technician, good in the ring. Max Caster is just like, now the crowd expects it every time he comes out. Everybody gets excited, like, oh man, what's he gonna say? Like honestly, he said some stuff that he shouldn't have said, but might not have been the worst thing for his career because now every time he comes out, everybody's like, is he gonna cross the line?
Say something. What's he gonna say?
Right.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't have said it. I don't condone what he said, but the fact that he did say it may long term have helped him.
Yep, people are gonna listen.
Yes.
DJ says the 22nd is his birthday. Well, DJ, you're gonna get a couple more then, probably.
Happy early birthday.
Or if you just want to change it to today, that's fine. We can just leave it at that.
Hey, happy birthday, DJ.
Happy birthday. Happy new birthday.
That's it. It's my daughter's birthday today.
Yes, and Marcus, I was gonna say this. Do you know what wrestler your daughter shares a birthday with?
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, she does, doesn't she? Wow, how about that? She also shares a birthday with Jean LaBelle.
All right, how about that?
Man, good company.
Very good company.
She's gonna start a faction when she grows up. It's gonna happen.
She's already got a wrestling name by accident, Piper.
Not by accident.
Thanks, Nesha.
Oh man, top 10 tag teams, James. That's a lot. Let's see. We won't go through the whole thing, but how about our top three? Marcus, you start. I'll start. FTR for me, number one. Marcus.
FTR.
Okay, number two, Von Erichs from MLW. Marcus.
This is where it gets sticky because there's so many good ones.
There's good ones.
Do your next one and then I'll do mine.
Number three.
Oh, this dead air is brutal.
It's thinking air. It's not dead. We're thinking. Okay.
Thinking air.
This is thinking air. Ooh, Marcus, did you think of one yet?
Nope.
Okay. I'll say the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you can help but put them on the list.
Yeah.
They're probably my number 3 right now. As far as number 2 is concerned, I don't know. I think the Lucha Bros. Every time they come out,
okay, Lucha Bros.
Every time the Lucha Bros come out, they turn the dials for me. Where I'm just like, all right, let's go. Let's see what Ray Phoenix is going to do this time.
Yeah, Young Bucks definitely get honorable mention. Like they're up there though. The Rockers.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as old school tag teams.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
Oh man, Heart Foundation probably number. Well, I mean, if we're technically counting the Outsiders, that'd be number 1, and then Heart Foundation.
I mean, I'm a Hall and Nash fan, and I love what they did. So Outsiders are always my all-time number 1 tag team.
Harlem Heat, sucker. 1, 2. Horsemen. That's would they count as a tag team? Or...
I mean, Oli and Arn. Now that I've been back watching that stuff, how fun were those two?
Yeah, they were good.
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Holy smokes, they're good.
All right. Couple
we
more.
We got a hammer on here, Dom.
We do. All right. We've been covering a lot of good stuff, though. Hey, all right. Ricky Starks and Brian Cage in a Philadelphia street fight go toe to toe. Ricky hangs on to the FTW title, I think, in a very fitting and well done way, like the perfect way you could for Ricky Starks and how his character is. I think it was very well done. Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it's the right finish. Unfortunately, it's at Brian Cage's expense again, which he keeps going through losses, and Dominic needs a transformation. And you know what my vote is.
Oh yeah, Wardis.
I don't know if there's James. Thanks for joining us, man. You have a nice weekend yourself.
Yeah, thanks, James.
I don't know if there's a trademark situation with WWE and Mortis because I know that they own a lot of the creative from WCW days. But if there's not a trademark situation going on, honestly, this Mortis thing, I think it needs to happen.
Maybe we'll get something good like that. I think that'd be great. You know, I would like.
And here's the other aspect, Dominic, is bring out fucking Vandenberg as his manager.
Oh, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, that's money. That is money right there.
Isn't it?
Vandenberg. Oh man, that'd be great. Vandenberg and Cage together, and then you get them to rope in Lance Archer, and Jake gets jealous and fucking turns on Archer. But then you have this power tag team of Archer and Cage together, or Archer and Mortis, whatever, Cage, Mortis, whatever.
And I wouldn't hate it if they brought in Crowbar for that group.
Oh yes. Well, we were going to talk about him too. Man, how about that?
I think Glacier is still active.
Glaciers, and the Blue Meanies there too as well.
So there's your faction.
So, yeah, man, we cooked something up, man.
Yeah, Steven's saying he doesn't know where they're going with Brian Cage. So here's the thing: is if they don't do this Mortis thing, I don't know what else to do with Brian Cage. He keeps losing, and the guy's got a great look. I think he's very skilled in the ring. Is he a super strong promo? Nope.
He's not a bad promo though.
He's not a bad promo, but he's not like some standout, I lean in every time he starts talking promo either. So like I think that really, and we're kind of joking about it right now, but really on paper,
I'm not joking. I think it's
if he were to become Mortis and you bring in Vandenberg as his the Sinister Minister, as it were, as his manager, it works. The Sinister Minister is a great talker. There's the canon connection between both of them. So to me, it just works. So in truth, I really hope they kick the tires on this.
Oh, look at that! What a well-placed mute. Wow, how about that?
Don't fuck around with those mutes, dumb.
Wow, you were right on the money. I like trying to stifle everything. I'm like, I can wait. I can do it. That's what Meltzer does too. And I'm so, just following in the footsteps of Meltzer.
Jesus.
I did mute. No, I'm with you though. Like, dude, I think it's a great angle. Man, Marcus, good shit. When are we doing WCW rewritten again?
Probably never.
What? Don't say that.
I don't know. I hope not never, but I'm no light at the end of the tunnel as of right now. I'm very busy.
I know you are, but don't you fucking say that, you asshole. Okay. Did we get everything? I think we got everything.
All right. Well, the timing works out, Dominic, because I gotta hit the other job a little bit tonight. Yeah, but before we go, let's talk Marcus Meltzer ratings and MVPs.
MVPs. Okay, Marcus, what's your Marcus Meltzer rating?
Before we get there, Actually, we didn't talk about Miro losing to Sammy Guevara last week.
Oh, we didn't. Wow, that was a big thing too. Yeah,
It was a big thing.
one of the biggest, arguably.
Not crazy about it, but I understand why they did it, especially on the show that they did it on, where it was a tribute to Brody, and it's the TNT title, and it's going to change hands, and so I understand why they did it. But that being said, I don't think it hurts Miro at all to lose. Oh shit, my fucking dehumidifier is doing a running.
So
hang on, very unprofessional. Hang on.
And you didn't even mute. Wow, what a fucking asshole, huh? Jeez. The third man again.
Oh, very humid down here. But I don't think it hurts Miro at all to have lost to Sammy. And yes, Nesha did call it. But that being said, I saw all that potential in Miro, and I was so excited for it. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to be a monster angle. But I don't know. It's I'm not saying the angle's dead, but I just don't like the fact that he has a singles loss now.
Well, what's next for him then? How would you handle it? I mean, how would you handle it, and what's next for him?
What's that?
How would you handle it, and then what's actually next for him? Do you think?
So how I would book him is like have him lose his mind, have him go absolutely nuts after having suffered this loss, and like even worse than before, like crank up the volume another couple notches as far as like his whole like redeemer shtick goes, and just like no more being silly about it though, like making it look like he's legitimately hurting people. Like every time he goes out there, somebody does a stretcher job. Yeah. Like I think that would be a good way to redeem it. This situation.
To redeem the redeemer.
To redeem the redeemer.
Ooh, I like it. Now, how do you think they are going to do it? Do you think they're going to do that?
What I think they're going to do is probably Daniel Bryan's going to win the championship sometime in the near future, and then he'll go into a feud with Miro, and Miro will lose to him. Okay. And then he'll go back to being the best man, and we'll be playing video games and shit.
It won't be that.
No, probably not. At least I hope not.
It's not going to be that. I'm leaning that may do what you're doing, what you said.
Yeah, I think they should have him go absolutely nuts. I wouldn't even hate if they did like that fucking Da Vinci Code stuff where he's like lashing himself. I wouldn't.
I've never seen Da Vinci Code.
Okay, I wouldn't hate it if he did that. But we'll see.
I just always assumed the Da Vinci Code was like Tom Hanks putting together some puzzles and stuff.
No, there's like this albino guy who's like super religious, and anytime he feels that he sins, he lashes himself.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those marks would show up pretty good on an albino.
Beautifully stated. Anyways, my Meltzer rating. This time around, Dom. I mean, these shows have been airtight, right? I mean, like it's hard to find flaws in what they're doing. 8.7, dude. 8.7.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like your second highest rating, I think, isn't it?
I know. I'm not finding flaws anymore. At least not as frequently.
That's good. That's a good rating, I would say. Okay, yeah. Who's your MVP?
MVP. Dominic. This time around, I've got to give it to Serena Deeb. She shined, and I like her as a heel. I said months ago that I wanted to see her as a heel. I want to see her join the Pinnacle.
Oh yes. Heck, it's kind of set up for that, is it not?
She should.
She should join the Pinnacle. I think that'd be a great move.
They need a woman in the group. If this is a dangerous alliance, they need their Medusa.
I think that's a very fair point. Oh man, who would I choose?
Or if Arn's gonna have a breakup with Cody, and they're gonna do like some four horsemen gimmick, I wouldn't hate if one of the four horsemen was Serena Deeb.
I would like that too. Do they have the rights to four horsemen? Can they get?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Shoot. Who is my MVP? You know what? I'm going DJ's route too. I'm going Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks. Yep. I like the bloodiness at the end of the show. I liked just how they set him up for it. It was good. It was a good way to do it. And close second, probably CM Punk. Because I think you can always give it to CM Punk, and you can always give it to Daniel Bryan, I think, or Bryan Danielson.
Right, because they shine every time they're on camera.
So, yeah, but I would. No, okay, I think it's got to be Hangman Page, right?
I'm sticking with Serena, but you can go with Hangman. I like that Hangman is back, but no, Serena Deeb to me.
All right, I'm keeping Ricky Starks. Hangman Page, I'm sure will get an MVP here soon enough, but I liked what they did and how he handled it all. So that's who gets my MVP this week.
Dom, my phone is blowing up. I have got to go. Can you wrap the show up?
Yes.
I've got to go.
Okay.
All right, hey, guys.
Plug anything?
Nice to see you again this week. No, I got nothing. Follow me at Marcus P. DeAngelo on Twitter. And follow this podcast at 2 Dynamite Dudes on Twitter. And yeah, guys, we'll see you next time around. Dominic, close out the show. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
All right. Well, what a busy man Marcus is.
I am.
This is all kayfabe. This is all kayfabe. He's not
business call. See you guys.
Out of here. He doesn't give a shit about anybody. Hey, see you, Marcus.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yes. Oh, wait. I think he'll just left the screen on. Hold on. Yes, guys, I'm about to leave as well. Thank you for tuning in. But yes, no more Marcus Meltzer rating. But you can follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo. You can follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. Go to WrestleZone.com for our wrestling news needs. And yeah, hey, just be on the lookout for some good stuff. I think it was Colin Tessier interviewed SOS from ROH. So give that a listen. Hey, by the way, we're trying to get Colin Tessier on the show as a guest. So we just got a lot of stars lined. I was going to do an extra bonus episode, but as you can kind of tell, I was under the weather, so we didn't get to do one. But hopefully we'll be able to get Colin on the show here in one form or fashion in 1 week or another. So there's that. We do potentially have a guest coming up this week that will be a Dynamite Dude special. So be on the lookout for that. I don't think it will be live, but it is a good guest. So hint, we talked about them or this person on the show tonight. So somebody will be potentially here. Fingers crossed it'll work out. So be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to think if there's any other like pop interviews up. Oh, check out my press conferences I did on MLW Fightland. That's all up on the YouTube video channel. And you can just subscribe to that. Give that a like. That always helps. Like, subscribe to the interviews, or on your podcast feed of choice. That's a big, big help. Write a review on iTunes if you want. Would really appreciate that as well. Let's see. I want to get thank yous in. Thanks, Nesha. DJ Kip Sapien will be coming back. He's around. Yes. So let's see. Oh yeah. Bye, Marcus. Bother. Yes. Bother him on Twitter, Nesha. Kevin says, how are you doing? How was your day today? Hey, we're good, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in, man. We're about to close on out. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Nesha. Yeah, I got to go rest up a little bit more. I'm almost there. I'm on the upside of things. Oh, it was bad earlier this week. Holy smokes. But guys, thanks for tuning in on this episode of 2 Dynamite Dudes on a Rampage. See you guys. Have a good night.